Hi there, I'm Seb Maley and I'm the CEO of Qdos. Today we're going to be taking a few minutes to reflect on the reform to the IR35 rules in the private sector now that we are 12 months on from their implementation. Given that we at Qdos were so heavily involved, we'll start by looking at our direct experience of the reform. Back in 2016, ahead of the changes to the rules in the public sector, we launched the first full compliance system, Status Review. This was released before even HMRC's CEST tool, and since then we've carried out over 32,000 IR35 assessments, both in the public and private sector. We have helped engagers to issue over 19,000 status determination statements, which are based on our independent and expert reviews, with 86% of these falling outside IR35. In addition to this, we have carried out over 100 comprehensive audits, over 200 commercial contract reviews, over 150 reviews of contracted out services, and we have conducted well over 120 training sessions and webinars to over 4,000 individuals. We have supported over 2,800 businesses throughout the reform in 15 different industries and have won a number of awards for the services we provide. But let's have a look at what happened in the wider market since the reform was implemented on the 6th of April last year. Well, the 12-month anniversary will also see an end to HMRC's apparent soft landing, which is where they suggested they'd allow a kind of grace period in the first year of the new rules. This wasn't quite as simple as it seemed though, and I covered the issue in detail in another video a little while ago. We've also seen quite a lot of HMRC activity since the rules were changed, both in relation to the reformed rules in the public and private sector, but also historic investigations into contractors prior to the amendments taking effect. A few of these were quite high profile. Not long after the 6th of April, the news broke that Gary Lineker was the subject of an IR35 investigation into his engagements between 2013 and 2018. The headline amount of tax at stake was staggering, with court documents showing that the gross liability was some £4.9 million. The case is still running, so we certainly won't have heard the last of it, but it grabbed people's attention for obvious reasons. HMRC were also successful in a case involving the former Sky Sports presenter Dave Clark, who had appealed a £281,000 tax bill in November. They didn't have as easy a ride against Adrian Childs, though, who won his case at a first-tier tribunal in February. HMRC have been very aggressive in targeting TV presenters in recent years, and there will certainly be more of that to come, but they've also been active in more typical contractor engagements over the last 12 months too. I mentioned earlier that the IR35 rules in the public sector were reformed back in 2017. After public bodies got to grips with the rules, which was certainly a challenge, it all seemed to settle down, but we have learnt over the last year or so that HMRC have actually been very active in policing the rules, and no less than 5 public sector departments have been left with bills for non-compliance, totalling £263 million. They have been fairly quick to act in the private sector too, and in September, just 5 months after the reform, we started to see letters being sent to companies probing their approach to the changes. It's still early days with cases in the private sector, and it's likely that HMRC will find proving any non-compliance more of a challenge than they have in the public sector. But they are certainly active, and I'm sure we'll see more checks and inquiries as the months progress. For contractors themselves, things are looking increasingly positive when it comes to outside roles. And we're seeing more and more firms revisiting and softening their approach to IR35 determinations. In November, we followed up on a survey we completed shortly after the reform, and it showed that there had been an 83% increase in the number of contractors who had secured an outside contract. In terms of looking forward, I would expect that trajectory to continue, but it's obviously also important for people to keep an eye on HMRC's compliance activity and also any cases which reach the courts. Private sector firms have got to make sure that compliance with the off-payroll rules is maintained on an ongoing basis, because it's likely that HMRC will look for soft targets or those who may have taken their eye off the ball. Please subscribe to our channel for more video updates, and visit our website for plenty of information and resources. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.